This time I would like to call to order the Hardin County Board of Education meeting, and thank you all for coming out. I even see some retired principals that snuck back in back there. And glad to have y'all. First of all, we'll stand and say the pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We're going to have a moment of silence. We had a student that attended New Highland, Malachi Fryer, and also Susan Davies, who was a teacher at Ronnieville that has passed away since our last meeting. So let's have a moment of silence for them, please. All right, thank you. And we have our newest board member tonight with us, Ben Seago. He replacing the old retired teacher board member out there, and Ben's hit the ground running. He attended some graduations and got initiated pretty well, I think. So we're off and looking for a good year.
On that, Chairman, we had his swearing-in ceremony was held at the courthouse in Elizabethtown with Judge Shoemate, and so we welcome him. But if it's all right, we have a special gift for Mr. Kinney here as his going away present and appreciation, and so we have a rocking chair for him, not that he will plan to use it all the time. But we did just want to thank him for his years of service and dedication to the Hardin County schools. He did a great job for us and always made votes in the best interest of the students of Hardin County. So we greatly appreciate it. I think we're missing a ribbon. I'm not sure, but
What?
a ribbon.
Oh, that's all right.
The last one had a ribbon with glitter on it, and it stayed on there for quite some time.
I appreciate it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate your service, Mike. Mike, I think he was a rebel forever, and always will be.
I'll always be a rebel.
Once a rebel, always a rebel. But
Oh, rebel boots.
I told him that we was going to move East Hardin up to the north side of E-Town, and I think he was ready to take one of those rocking chairs apart and make me a casket out of it. So we compromised. We're doing a little move in that area, but Mike thinks it'll be okay. He always took everything seriously, and we appreciate it. Okay.
You know Ben's an old rebel too.
Surely not as bad as you was, Mike.
Almost.
All right, we'll handle it.
He's not saying anything.
We got
Yeah, I
four.
have a couple stories.
We have 4 North Hardin graduates, so we'll try to keep them under control. All right,
Hang in there.
Oh, yeah.
board commitments. You want
I can take that.
to lead us?
To improve our effectiveness, the Hardin County Board of Education commits to keep children first, listen, be prepared, be professional, demonstrate financial stewardship, represent the entire district and support district goals, and support board decisions.
All right, thank you. Jumping back forward. John Wright's got student recognitions. I think I'm on the right agenda now.
That's okay. That's all right. Mr. Chairman, if you'll pass those resolutions, we'll take it from there and honor some folks.
Okay, I have a motion.
I move that we pass the student recognition resolution.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we're going to meet, Mr. Chairman and board members, some wonderful middle school students from James T. Alton Middle School. I think back in February, Mrs. Bennett, the principal at James T. Alton, for a few more days, reported to you all that her 8th grade class was the first to go through the work ethic certification program as 8th graders. And so that means these students are ready, just like our seniors are, our 450 seniors that earned work ethic certification this past May. So these 8th graders have lived up to those same standards. And they're easy to identify tonight in their gray shirts that have the work ethic certification seal on them. And that means that they are ready to go to work. So you guys need to get a job. You guys, I think moms and dads are ready for them to get a job. It's,
John, they are actually made up of 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Oh, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. That's even more impressive. Thank you, Ms. Bennett, for pointing that out. So, absolutely, it's even more impressive. So let's bring these students up, certainly deserving of our recognition tonight. And Mrs. Palmer will be sharing a medal with you. Camille Alexander, and I know some of these folks aren't all here. Come on up, Camille. And hold your applause to the end, please. Lucas Dingman. Is Lucas here? Come on up, Lucas. Audra Disselkamp. There's Audra. Ryan Fay. Stay up for a picture. Holly Hale. Morgan Heron. Morgan. Elizabeth Howell. Ann Claire Jolly. Ashley Lyric. Kylie Phipps. Nevaeh Pointer. Rachel Ritchie. Ella Shearer. And Connor Shacklett. Are there any teachers or Mrs. Bennett? I think you're certainly deserving to come up here if you would like. So let's give these folks a round of applause. This is like media day for UK basketball here. Right? Looking good. Going on, let Mr. Tab get one here. Awesome. All right, thank you guys. They have certainly proven that they deserve. Leave one, Mr. Tab.
Except for
There we go. I need one. To prove that they have earned, to prove that they have these skills, the grade 8 standards in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade is certainly terrific, and we applaud you all for that effort. First middle schoolers in Hardin County Schools history to earn a work ethic certification, so very well deserved honor. Okay, Miss Wanda Ballard, where are you? Come on up, Miss Wanda. I don't think she likes to get this recognition, but she's going to get it anyway. Wanda is our Director of Benefits for Hardin County Schools. She spends countless hours above her workday to ensure HCS employees file for insurance and perform their required biometric screenings. She is extremely patient with everyone who requests her assistance and everyone who pushes the deadlines for enrollment in the certain benefit plans. Not that there would be anybody late to do that, Ms. Ballard. She's also active in the community and leads the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life efforts in Hardin County, which is no small task, as we all know. Wanda is a true leader in the Hardin County Schools. We appreciate you, Ms. Wanda. We have one other staff member that I forgot to put in the recognitions, and I apologize for that. So we're going to give him a medal, and I'll get you a plaque, Mr. Goodman. If Mr. Hubert Goodman will come up, please. Come on up, Mr. Goodman. Mr. Goodman is a bus driver for Cecilia Valley Elementary School, and Mrs. Sharon asked if he could get this Leading the Way award, and here's why. He attends many student functions to support students. He has attended open house, family nights, and basketball games, etc. for the students of Cecilia Valley. He organized the transportation for the after-school program, tutorial program called Bump It Up, which allowed transportation costs to be largely decreased because he planned to pick them up on an existing route. And he stops in the office just to double check if there are any new students, and certainly does his best to welcome them to the school. So it certainly goes above and beyond. We appreciate you, Mr. Goodman. Thank you. And our Community Leading the Way Award, Miss Atcher, Miss Elizabeth Atcher, we see you over there, come on up. Ms. Atcher is a remarkable working mother of Hardin County School students. For many years, she has given freely of her time to the district, particularly the last 4 years to North Hardin High School. Her twin sons, Jacob and Zachary, graduated from North earlier this month. Mrs. Atcher works at the Cecilian Bank's Vine Grove branch and has unselfishly served the North Hardin Baseball Boosters and the school site-based decision-making council. This next part's pretty amazing. She has sat on SBDM councils for 12 consecutive years. Each year, her sons have attended Hardin County schools. Mrs. Atcher served at Vine Grove Elementary, James T. Alton, and North Hardin High School. She was a very dedicated and dependable council member who has always supported the students and staff of Hardin County Schools. Parents and community members like Elizabeth Atcher are certainly helping our district lead the way. We appreciate you, Ms. Atcher. And we'll start the process, I think in July. Ms. Morgan and I discussed that to come up with a new hashtag for the 2018-19 years. So we'll probably still do Leading the Way in July, but hopefully in August we'll have a new hashtag to go with. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Focus on academics, Mr. Sutton.
I'll be brief tonight. I want to talk to you a little bit about our summer reading program. I'm very proud. I'm going to recognize teachers tonight. They're not here. Didn't ask them to be here, but I want you all to realize what staff are doing for students during the summertime. Currently, we are hosting our summer reading program at 3 sites, GC Burkhead, Heartland, and Radcliffe, and all of our schools are sending students there for morning reading sessions. And I want to give a shout out to these teachers. The site leaders at the GCB site, Jennifer Sullenberger, at the Heartland site, Ellen Basham, and at the Radcliffe site, Shelley Hahn. The following teachers have been serving students for the past 2 weeks and will continue through June 28th. We have Monica Krim, Melissa Gray, Kelly Goodman, Becky Dennis, Rachel Cecil, Lori Ott, Donna McMahon, Jamie Morning, Amber Stevens, Elisa Nichols, Kelly Hart, DeMarcus Compton, Lisa Jaggers, Emily Robbins, Penny O'Neill, Allison Birch, Janice Williams, Shandis Rose, Kim Durantz, Allison Trombley, Katie Richardson, Amanda Conrad, Gina Steinbrenner, Brooke Pennington, Sheila Velker, Nicole Coleman, Sarah Cross, and Penny Anderson. Those are 30 of our teachers that are dedicating their summer to working with children, and that's just the one that we're sponsoring here through the Instructional Service Department. You've got things like Camp Invention going on. Next week you'll have students at Lakewood going through the STEM camp. You have schools that are using their extended school service funds for instructional activities leading up to school starting in August. So I'm proud of all of our teachers. This is just the one working with this program. All schools are sponsoring other programs that are working with kids and to make sure they have a place to go, to feel loved, and to continue their instruction. And the kids want to be there. So if you get an opportunity to stop by GCB, Harlan, or Radcliffe before June 28th, between 8:30 and 11:30 in the morning, you'll see teachers working with kids. And I appreciate what they're doing, so I want to give a shout out to them tonight. So thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, recognition of visitors, and I think we had a couple of people signed up to speak. There you go, sir. Thank you, John. Regina Boone, first on the list.
Good evening. My name is Regina Boone. I am a kindergarten teacher at GC Burkhead Elementary School. I'm also serving as president of the Hardin County Education Association. I want to address the board tonight on the rescinding of the sick bank policy. Haven't had time to do a lot of research, so I do have a lot of questions about that and some concerns. I did acquire some more information today. I thought that policy was implemented through meeting confer with HCEA, and I found out today, this afternoon, that it was with Linda Lynch. I was told by Ms. Foster that it was a recommendation from KSBA, and some of that was due to some confidentiality issues. But my concern with that is, as teachers, we're all bound by the same confidentiality issues. The people that serve on that committee is 1 administrator and 2 teachers. They should be bound by the same confidentiality issues that we are in the classroom. Some of my questions were, and we haven't had enough time to look at these, is what were the procedures that are used to grant sick bank days to members? one thing I know is to be a member of the sick bank, you have to donate 1 day. And when you use sick bank days, you have to be completely out of your sick leave days and completely out of your personal leave days. Another thing is, how is the information given? If it's confidentiality, how is the information relayed to the committee? And if too much information is given, then the information needs to be streamlined, and they only need to be given the information that they need to make a determination as how many days, or if the person will receive or be denied days. The sick bank does not cost the district anything. I've talked to a member on the committee. They say the time is minimal. They do meet once a month to see if anyone has petitioned for days from the sick bank. Joining the sick bank is completely an option. It is not mandatory. You're given the option at hiring. When I became a Hardin County School employee in 2008, I was asked if I wanted to join the sick bank. Since then, I've only had to donate 1 day. And in 2009, when I did have an illness, I petitioned the sick bank and I was granted a day to help offset the days that I didn't have. The information was given to me this morning that this policy was actually rescinded by KSBA last year after policy revisions had already been submitted. So a question with that is, if we've known about that for a whole year, there are 571 members of Hardin County employees that are currently in the sick bank. Why haven't we been given that information earlier? That is over half of the employees in the district. This morning, Ms. Foster stated that there are approximately 1,100 certified employees in Hardin County schools. 571 of those are members of the sick bank, which leaves approximately 529 non-members in the bank. So you have more members in the sick bank than you do non-members in the sick bank. Have they been given the option to say this is something that they do want or something that they don't want? Last night, I created a survey of Hardin County Education Association members. 72% of those members out of, let's see, I got 80 responses now, said that the sick bank is valuable to them. So if that's something that we're going to rescind or do away with, I think that the members in the bank should have the option to say if that's something that they want to continue to utilize or not. There is no expense to the district. I understand that the state does have a donation procedure that has to remain in place, but this is another benefit. We're already losing a lot of benefits as teachers. I was also informed that it's not being utilized a whole lot, but if the days being granted to people in the bank are only 1 or 2, and I was informed this morning that if you apply to the sick bank, then there's a potential that if you apply again, you could be denied. If you're still a member of the sick bank, why would you be denied the second time you apply if you have a separate illness? So those are questions that I have as president of Hardin County Education Association that I would like answered before the board makes a decision. So I'm asking tonight that rather than dissolve the policy, that it can be revised, and if no one can answer the questions that we have at this time, that is tabled until I can receive additional information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Michelle Richardson.
Good evening. I'm a 5th grade teacher at GC Burkhead, and I want to tell you a story of why sick bank is important. 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. It was not the run-of-the-mill cancer. It wasn't a breast cancer. It wasn't a melanoma. It was a sarcoma. It was 6 inches long and 1.5 inches deep, and it was in my thigh. Did not know it was there until I couldn't walk. I missed 9 weeks of school because of surgery and physical therapy afterwards. My surgeon in Vanderbilt begged me not to return to school in August. I did return half day just because I wanted to be there for my kids. And one of the things, I was a new teacher, and one of the things my husband said is, Michelle, you don't have that many sick days. And he says, if you lose your sick days, we exhaust them. What happens with your insurance? What happens to your employment? What happens to the rest of your benefits that we desperately needed to get us through this crisis? And I said, don't worry about it. I belong to the sick bank. I don't have to worry about individual donations. I have a safety net. I've got the sick bank that I can draw on. And that's what I did. In 5 years, I had not taken any sick days or personal days. I exhausted them. And then I needed another week of sick bank time. to get me through. Just knowing that I had that sick bank was definitely put all of us at ease, not knowing what was happening with the cancer and with my leg. That was just one more thing I didn't have to worry about traveling back and forth to Vanderbilt. So, as a person that has depended on it, I implore you to please table this until we can get some more information, that Ms. Boone's questions are answered, and you get some feedback from the participants in the sick bank. I know you may look at, well, it's not being utilized, or it can be covered through direct donations, but it is a very, very important benefit that we have that we do count on. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will discuss this issue some more. Heard pros, cons, and it's scheduled in the consent agenda, but I think Andrea is prepared to make a motion after a while to maybe pull that particular item out, and we'll give it another month of consideration.
Did we say why KSBA is recommending this?
The KSBA said because of the other way that people can donate days, they felt it was a rather redundant policy. What we do now is people who do not belong to the sick bank can meet with our HR department, and they put out an email basically to every staff member, certified to certified and classified to classified, that they are eligible to donate those days. And so it was seen more as a redundancy of that.
Beyond that, KSBI advised that it created a liability from the standpoint of privacy information, in that whatever board you construct has to be constructed a particular way, which will include people that will be able to potentially identify the person asking for the donation, and that's a violation of Privacy Act. So their recommendation was, since there was another program, that you wouldn't need this, and the other ways to ask for it, of course, are completely get around the Privacy Act information, because the person has to come forth and say they want it. So they've waived any privacy when they do.
Excuse me, we have a certified and a classified sick
Yes,
bank
yes, ma'am.
committee,
Yes.
and who's on those committees?
I could not tell you the names.
I mean,
of
I
those
don't know the
people.
names, but aren't there certain
Oh, how they're
positions?
constructed?
Yeah.
Yes, you have so many classified people throughout the district who participate in that committee.
And they serve for a certain term, and, because
Yes.
I know I've seen, we've appointed people.
Yes.
Yes.
The board appoints people to that. Does it cost us anything?
Now, most recently, I know Donna had shared, I don't think she's here, is that for the certified donation, it has been her and one other person who has shown up for that. But the rest of the committee has not shown up for the last several meetings. So,
Kind of like flight booth councils?
Yes, and so for the classified version, I do believe, honestly, I believe we have better turnout from the classified committee that works with that sick bank than we have the certified sick bank.
We'll discuss this some more. Feel free tonight, but I personally, from what I had understood about it, I assumed that people were given to who they wanted to, and I can see the lady's point where if you're brand new into a system of this school, it would be harder to have a bunch of old friends to step up than it would, as a seasoned person that had been in our system for a good while. Is this statewide, this sick bank? Can you draw out of a State pool or
No,
it's just
no,
your
no.
school pool?
Just the school
Okay.
pool, and I think currently we have 55 districts who continue at this point to have a sick bank, but most of the counties have done away. And again, it speaks to Mr. Seago mentioned about the FERPA violations and all that.
Is there some way we can solve the confidentiality problem with it?
They have to write on the form why they need the time,
So,
and so the fears that people can identify who they are based on their circumstances.
Okay.
It seems to me that a person, if I needed some time, it sure wouldn't bother me to tell you who I was.
No, really.
it seems like maybe a waiver would
Yeah,
make that
might
go
work.
away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the other way works. That's why you can, ask for time, because you've waived your HIPAA Privacy Act information. So maybe just a waiver in the request, I don't know. But that sounds like it's worth talking some more.
Mhm. I agree.
All right. We'll hear some more about this month and figure out where we're going. Construction updates. We have any reps here from the construction side?
I don't believe so.
Sherman Carter, JRA, all on vacation, huh?
Well, I think we gave them the night off.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say,
Okay.
the reports that they had were very short, and so I suggested they take the evening instead of driving up to share about grass at this point.
That's fine.
I see we have some possible renderings for the
Yes.
two schools we're looking at.
A start.
And, yeah, it's a start, because I'm not going to approve anything until I see how the outside of it's going to look.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't intend it to be.
You can't see that till it's up. No, just for public information, John and I had some discussion today after we met, and I'm still very disappointed in Cecilia Valley. So we're probably going to start paying for some things to be done, and I'm assuming we'll just go to court, because I think the job needs to be done, and it needs to be done with perfection, and I'm going to stand up for Hardin County people. That's the way I feel, and if that's what it takes to make this right. John and I pretty much agreed that there's some little things that needs to be right. So we're going to have a little trial area on some floor down there. We're going to pay a little price, and we're going to have a room done to see how we think it's supposed to be, the way we want it. And from that point, we'll get further into that battle. I realize the construction industry, the food industry, everyone is under the schools, bus drivers, food service. We all need workers, and I understand, but still, we cannot do half of a job when we do something. We got to do it right. And so I think we just need to stand our grounds on this, and we're spending taxpayers' money, and I intend for them to get the best bang out of their dollar they can get.
Also, John, if you would tell Rob that I personally, I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but I'd like to have some options.
Sure. At the noon board meeting, Kay, we talked about, this is kind of a site layout plan. We've been meeting about twice a month now for that, and so those diagrams are for you to take with you, and if you want to make some notes, things that you like, things you don't like, we'll certainly share that with Rob.
And I apologize for missing the
Oh, no problem.
noon board meeting now.
Yeah. And he did share that this was the beginning stages of it, and I think the principals of the schools, and Mr. Tabb has been coming to those meetings, Mr. Stucker, and making sure we take into consideration some different options that are available.
Okay, we're down to number 8, consideration of the consent agenda. And
What number is that we're gonna pull for the sick leave bank?
That's what I was looking for.
Andrea has it.
Andrea.
Right there in front of her.
On the agenda, it's 9E4, but the actual items inside the policy revisions are 3.1232.
Oh, no, it's 6. Information regarding the rescinding of the sick bank
Yeah,
policy.
6.
Oh,
96.
sorry.
9E6, that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
But we do want to keep the rest of those in there.
9, what?
9E6.
Oh, E6, okay. I
Back to
thought it was
E6. E6.
Right.
But these are in the policies, right?
We want to pull
We'll have-
9E4.
9E6.
But don't we still need to prove, yeah, we don't want to pull all of
This is
4, right?
information regarding
9E6 is the
rescinding of the
dissolution
sick
of the-
bank policies. 6 is.
But the actual action is in the policy revisions, right?
Yes.
But we're going to go ahead and approve the
Everything else in the.
Yes.
recommended policy revisions with the exception of the sick bank policy.
3.1232.
I have a
Yeah,
question about that.
1232.
Are there any others in there that are significant changes, or is it all routine?
No, there were several in there about charter schools and what the Board of Education is required to do. One of the biggest things that's in the policies and procedures is the state is now requiring a child abuse and neglect background check that each person who comes to the district will have to pay for before they can become an employee. But that also requires contractors who would do any work on Hardin County grounds. Each person and all employees will have to pass that background check before they are allowed to work on school property. So it is significant for
But
anyone.
we don't have
who-
any choice in
No, we
that.
have no choice.
It is.
That's not something
no
we could
choice.
say,
But
no,
that-
we're not
But
gonna do
that's
that.
the biggest thing in the policy review. That was in there. One of the other things for HR was that we no longer have to wait the 30 days. We can hire within the 15-day window. Anything else? That would, child abuse and neglect and the background check was the major thing. But again, that's law. It's now in our policies and procedures and
Yeah, this is
about the
just
contractors.
The completion of the flow down of that, so.
How often do we review the entire policy book? Do we ever do that?
We have taken part of it last year. This year, I'll be honest with you, there were so many new items with all the charter schools, we really just focused on the new things. But that is actually why you pay KSBA, is to go through all those policies and procedures and make sure they're up to date.
If you gave the principals a test on those policies, do you think they could pass it?
We have a roundtable discussion with the principals, and I mean, they reference those quite often for different situations. And to be honest with you, Chris Reed is their go-to person if they have a question about a policy or procedure.
So he knows them inside out.
He knows where to find them, and yes.
I know generally where they're at, I can look them up for you.
Yes, and when they have questions about it, that is.
Well, sometimes when you have to make a policy decision, you don't have time to look it up.
They,
So.
when it comes to students, they have the time to look it up.
Whatever day you're going to give that test, let me know in advance, would you please?
Yeah.
I'm going to be off that day.
I'm just asking, because I can remember those days when we used to sit down and go through that book page by page by page.
We have, since I've been on the board, seems
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
pretty hard. And then we decided to go with
Their
KSBA.
service.
KSBA's always done it,
Yes.
yeah.
It's worth that fee that we pay.
Definitely.
To be there.
I have a question about another item, if it's time. The, the student education stuff.
Yes, that is being paid for out of title funds. That will be for, they will work with us on the pillars of what we discussed with getting a strategic plan together, but also coming up with processes and procedures in our county. Not only will they work with district leadership, they will also work with the principals in the building so they can go back and implement their comprehensive school improvement plans and what that will look like. So it will be more in the realm of professional development, but in the end, we should have a vision for many years down the road of what we can do to improve student achievement. In the process you go through that, it's whenever KDE makes a change, like currently they're changing college and career readiness targets and all that, but what processes will you ensure that you're going through to meet those new challenges?
Is the state ever going to leave anything in place long enough for us to
Surely not.
accomplish?
If you review the past decades, I would assure you that is not going to
Not
happen.
likely. Yeah.
The other thing in policy and procedure was, and Chris Reed and Brian Lewis have been working on this, the required trainings. We have a required hour training of online seizure to recognize the seizure when it's happening, but then we also have to do in-person suicide prevention training. So
I need to take that training.
that is.
It doesn't work very well for the person who might suffer.
Who's having the seizure?
It's really difficult for them to know.
That's all my questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else have any questions they want to bring up?
I'm curious about the degree of disappointment you've displayed with the new school. So I don't know when we would want to go over that, but
We'll walk through.
Be glad to take a tour someday if you want one.
That's probably what you need to do.
Yes.
is go out there and-
I'm really not inclined to sign off on a job that's not done. I can't.
You
Actually,
can't appreciate it till
some
you
of
see it.
them were small things, but yet it's big to me. The canopy outside, paint peeled off really bad. They pressure washed and painted right back over. And you can see every edge from bare metal to paint that stayed on. And, you know, a little bit more work would have made that perfect. And it was just,
Floors or
floor.
grid or something.
Yeah, I think I should see that now.
It's, but we'll be glad to go down there someday, and I might even assign him the times that I've been down there, John, to go with you.
Welcome to come. And
Yeah.
just so you know, the board has not paid the general contractor out.
Yeah, okay.
So there's still some skin in the game for him to complete, quite a bit of skin in the game for him to complete the job.
John and Joe both have spent many hours down there, stood in the firing lines, and it's like 10 or 12 people, architects and contractors, against 2. Now, that gets to where it's not fun after so long. And-
I'm good for that.
Yeah, so.
I'm okay with that.
That's tough.
Mr. Chairman, I do have one more question. I'm
All
sorry.
right.
Did I understand what I read correctly, that the, and I see Tanya's here, I'm sure that's why she's here, the North Hardin High School hitting, what is that, a hitting building or something? Did I see that somebody was donating the money to pay for that?
We starting the process of BG1 is just the start. We can get out. Ms. Carter had a donor that wanted to donate a good sum of money. Thanks boosters will raise the rest.
So,
And if
okay,
they do,
okay.
I'm 100% for it.
Me too.
Otherwise, we had that discussion today. I
Oh,
would not
okay,
be
I'm
for
sorry.
it if we had put money in it, because we've got 3 facilities that all would want them. And,
Yeah.
but if anyone wants to donate something that large,
Oh,
I'd be
yeah,
glad
we'll
to
take
pay
it.
for the plaque to
Absolutely.
go over the door.
Yeah.
Say
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Put a nice big plaque on it, that's right.
Okay.
It would be something nice, it really would, but at this time, you know, we've got some middle schools that don't have baseball teams and so forth, and I think we've got a swimming pool that's been on my want list for 12 years, and I
Mine
think we
too.
got a lot of issues that we need to address before we start. I talked with an old graduate a while ago that I graduated with. He was a catcher, and he said, you know, we just hit them balls outside and go chase them. And I said, I know what you're talking about, Steve. So,
Except
yeah.
when it's 0 degrees.
Yeah. But,
Well, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, less the policy changes to section 3.1232 and 3.2232 regarding sick bank dissolution.
okay,
Well, go ahead, sorry.
have a motion and a second.
Mr. Chairman. I see something else I want to
All
ask
right.
you. Y'all gonna wish I'd stayed at
We're
home.
still open.
The surplus trailers at New Highland. After those are gone, how many trailers do we have left?
Okay, I don't know if I have the answer to that, Joe. I know there's one at JT Alton.
And we have one at Bluegrass as well.
We'll still have
And a
some,
Bluegrass.
That we use at family resource centers.
That's correct.
but if we get rid of those, that's two less we would have.
Well, I'm intending for us to have a big celebration when all those suckers are gone, because I hate them. And
Yes,
we've
ma'am.
had them in this district for 50 years.
Yes, ma'am. And again, due to the changing population, New Highland no longer needs them. All the kids are now under brick and mortar, so there's really no need for those trailers at this time at New Highland.
That's good, that's good. Get rid of the others as soon as you can.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm done.
Okay. If we approve this, there's one larger ticket item in there, C8. We're approving a land purchase for the new Lincoln Trail Elementary School, so we want people to know that.
Should call it out, yeah, that's good.
We've been looking for a good while, and we think we found a suitable site. A rather large site, 45 acres, but it's landlocked in part of it, so the state said it would be okay, and if I get 3 votes here after a while, we're on our way for another new school at the Lincoln Trail, and we do have just a sketch of what they think would look like a floor plan that would fit the property. So anyway, we're working on it. East Hardin is progressing along a little bit, and Lincoln Trail will be right there with it. All right, if there's no other questions, I think we've talked about just about everything on here except some trip approvals and little things that we have almost everything. We're approving a contract with the Cumberland Medical Provider, and Ms. Sutton shared with me today that, or us at the meeting, that everything went well there. It's going to be a great contract, and
That'll allow us to keep our school nurses.
actually,
Starting January.
I think she said there might be a little bit savings, and we may have a little less invested before the January term starts. So that's
great.
that's good too.
Started some services.
Oh, okay, good.
So are we still at motion and second then?
I have a motion second. Any other discussion? Is there any discussion? If not, I'll hold that 7 o'clock. No other discussion? All right.
We're ready to vote.
We're ready to vote. All in favor of the consent agenda motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. So, action items. Approval of a summative evaluation of the superintendent, and I think we have to have a closed session on that, and then we come back out
I
and
think that's how that works.
either keep you or let you go. Is that the way it is?
I believe so, yes, sir.
I think you might be a keeper. So, we will have a short executive session. Anyone want to stay or is welcome. Otherwise, we've got the calendar on there. First day of school is August the 9th. Won't be long, will it?
Boy, no.
Chairman, if I may, if I'm going to get fired, I'll at least get to say what I want to say before that. No.
I told you we were going to keep her.
No, I do want to say, I think this may be Mr. Reed's, I think he might go on a vacation sometime in July. I'm just thinking maybe, but Mr. Reed has been Deputy Superintendent for Hardin County Schools and has worked for us for years. And many people have no idea what happens in student services and human resources. The amount of time they spend on the phone talking with parents, and a lot of times it's not the happiest of parents. It's sort of the end when you've gone over all the other people at the school level, this is where it ends up. And he makes sure the people in his department stay focused on students 100% of the time and really try to work with parents. In some instances, some short-sighted people might say just kick them out and be done with them, but they really work. So in the end game, the student is most successful. So just want to say thank you to him for keeping that first and foremost. And I know our principals and things truly agree with that statement and appreciate all he does in keeping students first. So thank you. And in the event that he's here at the next board meeting, I can say some more nice things, but I just have an inkling that may not be the case a little closer to the August 1st deadline. So just wanted to make sure we got that in tonight. So thank you.
I would have to say I've always felt pretty lucky because we had Bobby, who were small and people wouldn't pick on, and then we had you, the big guy that they were afraid of. So we've really been fortunate in that department. I don't know what we're going to do now, so but done a great job, really have. He's had some good family, children that's been through our school system, and still some of them here. And
I would say you're gonna love retirement, but since you're not really retired, I'm gonna say. If you need any help down there, because it's school, let us know.
It's gonna feel a lot like retirement.
yeah, the whole school is like one class of our high school or something.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we go into executive session for superintendent evaluation.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second to go into executive session. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Hey, we're back out of executive session. And we think we have a pretty good superintendent, and Ms. Sharon has a summary to read of our evaluation.
Okay. The chairman appoints me each year to do this summary of the superintendent's evaluation and report the results. So here it is again. The performance level was determined by the majority marked by board members. Since Mr. Seago is new to the board, only 4 of the board completed the evaluation form. Based on the majority mark, the performance level for the 2017-18 superintendent's evaluation is exemplary, which that's the highest mark you can get. Of the 7 standards, 6 were marked exemplary by the majority. Standard 4 was scored accomplished by the majority. All comments on all forms were positive. The board expressed complete confidence in Terry's leadership and commended her for another great year. The board unanimously believes that the superintendent has the district continuously improving in all areas. And I guess I will make a motion to approve the superintendent's evaluation.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second to approve the evaluation. Any other discussion?
Pass that back over to Charlie.
Mr. Seago, we had discussion in there. He felt like that maybe he should not vote on this particular motion due to the fact that he has not been involved in the system and really until tonight in a formal meeting, and we totally understand that.
I just would like my vote to be meaningful, and I don't feel like it. I've been involved long enough to vote on a year's worth of performance, but I will say nothing I've seen would challenge the exemplary evaluation. So that's the only reason I'm not voting, though.
Very good.
Ready when you are.
Ready? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So,
Thank you all.
congratulations, you've done a good job.
Thank you. And just for those of you on TV and still in the audience, this board that you have and our newest board member, they make it very easy to be in this district because of the dedication to students. And when they take a vote and they ask questions throughout the month, not just at board meetings, to make sure that we are doing what's in the best interest of students. So if you have an opportunity to thank them for their time and dedication and service, make sure to take that opportunity. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Shoot, I thought you were going to ask for a raise.
She's seen the budget, Kate.
Yeah, I know.
All right, I assume that
Agreed.
you're all ready to adjourn. We need a motion and
Okay.
Motion to adjourn? Oh, am I the one that always does it? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Y'all have a safe ride home and a good night.